Hello, my name is Joe Standard, and I'm a ninth grade ELA instructor at Winfield High School. And today I want to talk about my community and understanding it. So, a little bit about it. For the sociological inventory, Winfield, Kansas was founded in 1870. It's located in Cowley County in south central Kansas. It's a medium-sized community with some major businesses. Major businesses include GE and Rubbermaid, and we'll talk about those in just a bit, and how the changing economics has affected the community. There are some travel outside of town for work, like we have community members that do go to Wichita to work at places like, Cessna and all the other airfields and everything. Um, the population is about 11,943. The school district is USD 465. It is a rural community. Um, it is farming. There's industrialness and there's education as well there, because the college is there. Southwestern College is here as well. Um, Mostly the community members are white, with 3.9% that are Black and African American, 3.1 that are Asian, and 0.3% that are Pacific Islander. The Pacific Islander population does play a big part in our schools. The population is a lot bigger than in the community in retrospect. Within our schools, we have 54.75% of students that are on free and reduced lunch. In the high school where I teach, it's at 45.14% of the high school as well. So it lets us know that we have almost half our students in poverty. We do have a relatively young community, and the college kind of helps with that as well. It is an open community. There's a lot of different viewpoints on the political spectrum. The median income within the city is $44,498. So some customs and traditions. It is an industrial, institutional, and farming community, with Rubbermaid and with GE. GE, they work on a lot of aerospace and everything, and that's another discussion as well. And Rubbermaid, making different products too. Then the farming community as well, a lot of agriculture. The community relies on festival, institution, and education. The Walnut Festival is held every year in Winfield, except this year due to COVID, it had to be canceled. So that is going to affect the economy of the community in the future. So it's going to be interesting to see the impacts of not having this major event within the community. Southwestern College does employ a good amount of community members as well to teach and to be staff members there. Attendance is going down. It had been going down before COVID hit, but COVID did not do it any favors. So the college is kind of suffering at the moment, which is going to affect the community as a whole moving forward into the future. We also have a correctional facility there as well. So having guards and people that work there, they contribute to the community as well. Within the district, it's more of an art school, not really an athletic school or anything, very art focused. And this is seen throughout the community as well because we put on major events that the community gets involved in, like with Blue and White Starry Night, where students and the community come together in the parking lot of our high school, and live performances given in the parking lot. Vikings on Broadway as well. We have plays, choir, band. Um, like I said, very art focused within the community, and it does help with the Walnut Valley Festival, kind of feeding into that need of artistic abilities. So some characteristics of the population. Most community members have a high school education. So 89.4% do have one, with 21.5% having a bachelor's degree or higher. Um, for language, we've had at the high school about 2.54% of high school students are ELL, but 4.1% as a whole in the district do speak a foreign language. Um, Within our population, we have 47.3% that are female. Some occupations within our district. lot of blue collar jobs, like work fast food restaurants, Walmart, things like that. Education, working at the high school and the elementary schools and the middle school, and at the college. The correctional facilities as well, um, and farming. Majority is white. The tension with the current political atmosphere has kind of made it more tense, especially towards our Hispanic students and our Asian students as well. So there has been some tension there due to political atmosphere. I'm hoping as a society we can address those a little bit further in the future. We'll just have to kind of see as well, but you see it in the hallways, you see it in the community as well. You see some real nastiness, and this is something that we do have to address in our schools so we can help within the community as well. We have to plug away at it to try to educate people so we can have a better understanding of each other and live in harmony. So some communication channels, things that we use to communicate with the community. We have the school website and the app where people within the community can go to get information, whether that's board meeting minutes, um, plans at the school or in the district. Especially now, it's very important that people in the community are checking in on this site and on this app with COVID, checking up on the plans, what phase we're in, what changes are being made, because this is an ever-changing situation. We also use social media through Facebook, Twitter, trying to get information out about what's going on within our community, what our students are doing, making sure that everyone has that ability to get the information. Same with phone calls. We do automated calls, whether that's for reminders for parents about certain things that are coming up, warnings like inclement weather, or informing parents when there's a lockdown in place. We've had a few of those as well, and parents have been really they've when they get the information, they have a better understanding, and there's not a lot of freakouts. Also sending texts and emails as well from staff members to parents and within the community as well. County newspaper, we don't really have a local newspaper, so we do share them with our neighbor to the south in Arc City. Um, so we work in tandem with them to get information out. Local TV station out of Wichita. Not a lot of information comes from them regarding us per se, unless it's like school closings or something major occurs. I have a radio station from Arc City, so that one does work a little bit better with getting the information out. Um, Now there is an issue with foreign language as well, especially through these different medias and everything. A lot of times they're not in a different language. We have to get a translator to make contact with the families, or we do have the technology to help as well, but it could be a lot better for them. So it does cause some issues for those families of ELL students. But most of the news information will come from social media or TV stations for them to refer back to. So some community groups that we have our athletic teams at the high school with like football, volleyball, basketball, wrestling, track. Then with academic teams like Scholars Bowl, Skills USA. Booster Clubs is a great community of the parents that come and support the different activities that we have. Churches, getting the church support, church leaders. American Legion helps out. Masons Club does. Lions Club. A pretty big group that's been helping us out lately. Health Department, especially with COVID guidelines and coming up with our plan. Really, no problem groups. No groups that kind of are out there. We do have like groups of people like that do cause some problems within the community, but they're not really gangs. They're mainly dealers. Um, and we have had a growing concern of that, dealers and thefts and everything. So leadership within the community. So some community leaders that we have, mayor and city council, of course, the Winfield Police Department, health department. Like I said, this year it's The health department is up front and center a lot more than usual. School leaders, the way that we have it, we have the school board, superintendent, assistant superintendent, building principals, athletic director, building leadership team, department chairs, and technology committee. Um, each one of those play an important role with um, leadership functions throughout the district. Pretty much from the school board, they set the policies. Superintendent discusses with them how to implement those building principles, try to get it work within um, their building, with the BLT, the building leadership, and department chairs trying to get that worked in for staff to use, and technology committee um, working to make sure that uh, we have the right tools to implement those policies that the board makes. So, community leaders' characteristics. So, um, our leaders, they handle situations the best that they can. I know, especially this year, there's a lot of changing factors going on. So, they're doing the best that they can. Everything is just a constant change. So, one week it might be something, but then we might have to change it up the next week. It's an ever changing process, especially in the current environment that we're in. And it can be very stressful. But that's why we do have supports set in place to kind of assist with the leadership abilities as well. Um, we're kind of coming together and being supportive of each other. The community knows who to contact. They know that they can contact through the district website, the email and phone number information to our building leaders and our superintendent are communicated with the community through our website. And same goes from the community standpoint as well, to the city. Um, we usually work with state and local health department and are in constant communication with state department and other districts as well, especially with COVID and with other situations that may arise. Because we're always working towards student first responses. And there's great open communication between leadership because there has to be, especially right now. There has to be that open communication because with everything changing and everything in flux, we have to be able to work together. And this has been a great time to really work on our communication between our leadership, and it has been great on that front. So, some economic conditions. The businesses are slowly receding within the community. Rubbermaid has closed down a part of their facilities, and GE is in decline due to flight concerns, especially with the issues that have been going on, like with Spirit working with Boeing and everything. So that has kind of cut into a lot of our businesses there, especially our major ones. Considering that Rubbermaid and GE are major employers, so is USC 465, but the problem is we're losing students as well. So then that's going to be a reduction in staff, which has a major impact on the economic conditions within the community. The hospital as well, working with doctors, nurses, staff, and everything. They hire a pretty big chunk. Um, the good news is with William and Newton Hospital, they continue getting funding. They're still working. There's no major concerns yet. Um, we have agricultural and business sector as well. Those are still doing the best they can, but then again, with political situations, with tariffs and all the other economic challenges that face agricultural business, it has been tough. Southwestern College as well has been hit rough as well with declining student enrollment. So that does affect the university and the economy as a whole because those students coming in, the staff members there, really contribute a lot to our economy. Unemployment is at 8.2%. Okay. The wage conditions, it kind of fluctuates between, but you're staying at about that 44,000 median. The taxes in Cali County are high. That does cut into a lot of that earned income. I know that having the university there in the community, and there's also a community college around Arc City. So technically, we're paying for two colleges there. So taxes get pretty steep in the community. And our district office is located in the old community hospital out on Wheat Road. It's utilized for district offices and co-op, which is our special needs group, is out there as well. So the political structure, city council employees determine the rules and regulations within our cities. Um, our state rep is Cheryl Helmer. Um, she's our district state rep. She's not very supportive of education. Um, it would be nice to see a change in that, especially considering what's coming our way when referring to education. Um, because the state does determine the funding for schools, but the problem is the economic impact that's going to happen because of COVID-19 and what that's going to do to budgets throughout the state. We're looking at possible cuts, so that means more layoffs, more effects to the community, unless something changes. Um, so we have to be on the lookout for that and be prepared for that. And as a leader, I would have to be able to make those hard decisions as well in the future. Last year, the district received a total of about 27 million in total funding for 2019-2020, which is pretty good because that was an uptick. But as stated before, we're probably going to take a hit this next year when it comes to funding. Some social tensions. We do have some tensions due to politics, as was stated earlier. No major gains, but we do have issues with drugs, some gun violence and fights, and theft as well. There have been major issues within the community as well. I know that we have a few trap houses too. Social media can be an issue as well, whether that's spreading rumors throughout our community, causing more tension amongst the different civilians that live within the community or within the school building as well. Bullying is another issue, so it kind of goes hand in hand. It's usually caused through economic disadvantagements, social standing, race. It's one of those things that causes a lot of tension within our building and within our community that we must be able to address and must be able to improve upon. So for extra sources of information, community members and stakeholders can go to the district or building website to get like board member minutes, plans, handbook, different forms that they can fill out and communicate with. Um, Social media, the Booster Club, or even with the city going to their website. There's great resources there to seek extra information. So the power structure for our district, at the top you have to go with the school board. From there you go the superintendent, the principal, and then the staff members, and that includes maintenance staff, para staff, and teachers. Another power structure that we have in place is our union WNEA. And that usually goes with representatives, negotiation team, and members. They all work pretty well hand in hand from the union standpoint and the school standpoint. There's not any major disagreements. We do follow collective bargaining restraints, so that does help with reducing tension between the two organizations. Some multicultural issues, some diversity, but there's not much. Really, if you follow the rules, you should be good, but that's not always the case, especially with current political society. Dress code as well. Um, uh, following through with it. Community get-togethers. We try to get the community together as much as we can. Do this through like homecoming parade, or with the Blue and White Starry Night, or Vikings on Broadway. School handbook has been some issues that have risen up, making sure that um, it is understandable that literate families and illiterate families have access to it and have an understanding of it, especially even with our ELL families too. Our free and reduced lunches are high, almost at 50%, but we do try to offer second chance breakfast to help with that. So a little bit more of the power structure. The school leadership does define the power structure. Currently, the only outside influence we have is from the health department and the state department, especially and CASHA, especially with the situation that we're in now. Still following our regular guidelines, but also now with COVID guidelines. To measure public opinion, we have our open school board meetings. Um, those have moved more towards online Zoom meetings, but the community still has access to get into those meetings to watch and to comment. Sending out of surveys, social media, getting reactions, getting information to them, offering up public forums, emails, calls, and texts are a great way for us to measure public opinion as well. For the public opinion surveys, like I said, openish board meetings only because of our current situation. Um, our superintendent principals are pretty good being open and willing to um, share information and receive feedback and communicate that with staff and with board members. Communication through social media, and a major survey that we've had to send out information, updates on the COVID protocols and taking in information from the community about how to best serve students. So there's the references. So standard components that we have: collaboratively engage diverse families in strengthening student learning in and out of school. Understand, demonstrate the capacity to collaboratively engage and cultivate relationship with diverse community members, partners, and other constituencies. Benefit and understand and demonstrate the capacity to communicate through oral, written, and digital means. So I'll just. All right, so I want to thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you gained a little bit of information about the community in which I represent. Thank you and have a wonderful day.